Okay, Carl. Putting my headset on. Yeah, mine's on my head. Play-by-play, play-by-play, play-by-play. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Bold Stadium. That's true. What a coincidence.
Looks like we're getting to the south there, Lincoln.
Hot dog eating?
A little stormy. Some storm clouds. Be okay. Lincoln said we're not allowed to.
Arch, if you'll speak English after pushing that button.
English, speaking English. Per Lincoln, speaking English. Austin Bold are warming up. They're passing the ball. They just passed it again.
Jome.
There's another pass.
Garcia.
Jome.
Oh, that's right.
Jome.
Yeah, I see his hair.
Jome.
So, Carl, quickly walk me through the order of things. Okay.
Restrepo with the jacket. He's so good at anticipating that he's anticipating next week's cold front.
Bold, Tulsa, take a look at the last five. These two teams met most recently.
They call it One Oak Stadium. I didn't realize that. Up there in Tulsa.
That, then to Group D. Group D.
Yes. Poor RGV.
This is a good old-fashioned 12-pointer, these next two matches.
God, OKC only have 7? What's happened to them?
Well, after they beat Austin, yeah.
Falling apart, man.
Oh, they got a win. That's nice.
No, it's 3 ties.
Oh, that's right.
They're still winless, yeah. Oh, rough.
All right, so Dario Suarez first for FC Tulsa.
Yeah. Scored a brace in the win over RGV.
Yep, 4 goals his last 6 matches. There he is.
Team's leading scorer. The Cuban connection.
Only to be outdone by nominee for Player of the Month in August, Billy Forbes, with 6 goals, 7 matches, should be 7.
Billy has played really nicely. I mean, really nice.
That's good analysis.
Had 3 goals in the last 2 games. Brace against Colorado City. The 3 o'clock kickoff in Oklahoma City last weekend, which I'm sure was brutal. He had a goal in that game. And you hear the fans, they're excited.
Yeah, if we could get them to dial it down a little.
We need to be like the quarterback.
Uh-huh. Omaha. On the heels of a 6-match unbeaten streak, the Austin Bold return home, finding themselves back in the playoff hunt. Standing in their way, Tulsa FC, the 2 teams all locked up in Group D, but not just a 6-match unbeaten streak. Lincoln Rose, Arch Bell with you, but Arch, the last 5 of those 6 matches all on the road, including a 2-2 draw against FC Tulsa. That was the only of those 5 matches on the road in which Austin ever trailed.
Yeah, Austin Bold with a very successful road trip to get those 4 draws and a win, 7 points away from home in those 5 matches. That sets them up very nicely.
Austin Bold right now, though, it has the tiebreaker. The 3rd tiebreaker in the USL Championship is goals for. 19 goals this year for Austin, 11 goals offensively for FC Tulsa. That's your difference, but it's not probably going to come down to that 3rd tiebreaker. They play tonight. They play again on Tuesday. Both matches here in Austin. We hear people throw around the phrase a 6-pointer. The next 2 matches, essentially a 12-pointer that could really boost one of these 2 teams in their playoff hopes.
Yeah, absolutely. And luckily for the Bull, they have both of these games at home. That's exactly how you'd want that to set up.
Tulsa tied up the standings the other night thanks to the brace from Dario Suarez. He is red hot now. with 4 matches over the last handful of games, got them back on the winning streak.
Yeah, the team leading scorer for FC Tulsa, the Suarez, the Cuban. 2 really nice finishes the other night against RGV.
Meanwhile, the Bold have a hot hand of their own. And the first-year teammate, Billy Forbes, 6 goals over 7 matches in his debut campaign here in Austin.
Yeah, the Turks and Caicos International. I think playing the number 9, that central forward position, is really suiting Forbes, and the results show.
Austin Bold, FC Tulsa collide tonight, and we'll do it again on Tuesday. Opening kick, 90 minutes coming your way. Yeah, I'm good. Hopefully that gets us through the anthem.
Yeah, did you like that? Was that okay? We were a little shaky at the front, but
wait, we'll do it one more time, Carl.
Yeah,
we'll do it one more time.
Just the only thing is, and I'm not sure if they're going to be sticklers.
Arch has what we call standards.
No, you said Tulsa FC at the very start.
Oh, did I?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, thank you.
So I didn't know if they were going to be like, oh, it's FC Tulsa.
Yeah. Well, they.
Yeah, so
stupid. Yeah. The playoff push is already underway in Group D in the USL Championship. FC Tulsa comes to town to collide with the Austin Bold. It's the first of 2 meetings this week here in the Lone Star State's capital, as they collide tonight as well on Tuesday evening. The Bold are in the midst of a 6-match unbeaten streak, the last 5 all on the road, including that 2-2 draw against Tulsa. Lincoln Rose, Arch Bell with you here tonight. Arch, that match against FC Tulsa was actually the only of the 5 matches in which the Bold ever trailed.
I think you'd have to say it was a very successful road trip for the Austin Bold. To be able to get 7 points from 5 games away from home, you could always celebrate that.
That run on the road helped launch them ahead of FC Tulsa in the Group D standings. Remember, 2 teams from each group move on. San Antonio prohibitive favorites to take that top spot. Austin Bold, FC Tulsa technically are tied. You have to go to the 3rd tiebreaker. Goals for the offensive stat that favors the Bold, 19 goals to their name, 11 for FC Tulsa, including 2 the other night in the big victory, courtesy of Dario Suarez, who is red hot.
Dario Suarez is the team leading scorer for FC Tulsa, 4 goals on the season, and had 2 really nice finishes the other night against RGV.
Got them back on the winning track against RGV FC. Meanwhile, a hot hand for Austin Bold, being led by a newcomer, of course, this year. No Andre Lima, no Chris Tierpak. Instead, it's Billy Forbes leading the way. Now 6 goals in 7 matches.
Yeah, the Turks and Caicos International is really playing well, playing in that central forward, that number 9 role for the Austin Bold. It suits him, and he's scoring a lot of goals.
Well, we love to talk about 6-pointers. How about essentially a 12-point week for these 2 teams tonight and on Tuesday? They'll do it again. USL Championship, Austin Bold, FC Tulsa up next. Thank you.
So I understand why you said that, because on the screen. So
it's just the way they have to format things.
Oh, I see. Okay.
The playoff push is already underway in Group D in the USL Championship. FC Tulsa comes to town to collide with the Austin Bold. It's the first of 2 meetings this week here in the Lone Star State's capital, as they collide tonight as well on Tuesday evening. The Bold are in the midst of a 6-match unbeaten streak, the last 5 all on the road, including that 2-2 draw against Tulsa. Lincoln Rose, Arch Bell with you here tonight. Arch, that match against FC Tulsa was actually the only of the 5 matches in which the Bold ever trailed.
I think you'd have to say it was a very successful road trip for the Austin Bold. To be able to get 7 points from 5 games away from home, you could always celebrate that.
That run on the road helped launch them ahead of FC Tulsa in the Group D standings. Remember, 2 teams from each group move on. San Antonio prohibitive favorites to take that top spot. Austin Bold, FC Tulsa technically are tied. You have to go to the 3rd tiebreaker. Goals for. The offensive stat that favors the Bold, 19 goals to their name, 11 for FC Tulsa, including 2 the other night in the big victory, courtesy of Dario Suarez, who is red hot.
Dario Suarez is the team leading scorer for FC Tulsa. 4 goals on the season, and had 2 really nice finishes the other night against RGV.
Got them back on the winning track against RGV FC. Meanwhile, a hot hand for Austin Bold, being led by a newcomer, of course, this year. No Andre Lima, no Chris Tierpak. Instead, it's Billy Forbes leading the way. Now 6 goals in 7 matches.
Yeah, the Turks and Caicos International is really playing well, playing in that central forward, that number 9 role for the Austin Bold. It suits him, and he's scoring a lot of goals.
Well, we love to talk about 6-pointers. How about essentially a 12-point week for these 2 teams tonight and on Tuesday? They'll do it again. USL Championship, Austin Bold, FC Tulsa up next. push is already underway in Group D in the USL Championship. FC Tulsa comes to town to collide with the Austin Bold. It's the first of two meetings this week here in the Lone Star State's capital as they collide tonight as well on Tuesday evening. The Bold are in the midst of a 6-match unbeaten streak, the last 5 all on the road, including that 2-2 draw against Tulsa. Lincoln Rose, Arch Bell with you here tonight. Arch, that match against FC Tulsa was actually the only of the 5 matches in which the Bold ever trailed.
I think you'd have to say it was a very successful road trip for the Austin Bold. To be able to get 7 points from 5 games away from home, you could always celebrate that.
That run on the road helped launch them ahead of FC Tulsa in the Group D standings. Remember, 2 teams from each group move on. San Antonio prohibitive favorites to take that top spot. Austin Bold, FC Tulsa technically are tied. You have to go to the 3rd tiebreaker. Goals for the offensive stat that favors the Bold, 19 goals to their name, 11 for FC Tulsa, including 2 the other night in the big victory, courtesy of Dario Suarez, who is red hot.
Dario Suarez is the team leading scorer for FC Tulsa. 4 goals on the season, and had 2 really nice finishes the other night against RGV.
Got them back on the winning track against RGV FC. Meanwhile, a hot hand for Austin Bold, being led by a newcomer, of course, this year. No Andre Lima, no Chris Tierpak. Instead, it's Billy Forbes leading the way. Now 6 goals in 7 matches.
Yeah, the Turks and Caicos International is really playing well, playing in that central forward, that number 9 role for the Austin Bold. It suits him, and he's scoring a lot of goals.
Well, we love to talk about 6-pointers. How about essentially a 12-point week for these 2 teams tonight and on Tuesday? They'll do it again. USL Championship, Austin Bold, FC Tulsa up next.
Crack open summer with the taste of freedom. Budweiser's red, white, and blue camo cans. Available for a limited time only. In stores now.
No matter what pops up during your day, Ascension makes it easy to get the care you need. See a doctor at home 24/7 with Ascension Online Care. Visit ascension.org/online care. No matter what pops up during your day, Ascension makes it easy to get the care you need. Anytime, from anywhere, with Ascension Online Care. Visit ascension.org/online care.
Introducing Budweiser Nitro Gold, a first-of-its-kind lager infused with nitro for a taste as smooth as silk. Flip, pour hard, wait for it.
FC Tulsa making the trek to Austin. They'll stick around again Tuesday. These 2 teams go at it one more time. That is a rescheduled match from back in the restart during July when there was a COVID scare with the Austin Bold. As a result, a postponed match. Step aside for the national anthem. Great to have you with us this evening again. Take a look at the starting 11 for head coach Michael Encian and the visitors from Tulsa. Arch, I know you were very impressed with what is now the Cuban connection.
Yeah, the Cuban connection up front for FC Tulsa, talking about Dario Suarez and Ariel Martinez. Those two combined so nicely in the win against RGV. Martinez, so good in that, the number 6, but he plays more as a central forward, and he was just a workhorse the other night. Really the man of the match for me the other night against RGV.
Both of them teammates in Tulsa after previously being at Miami FC together. And of course for the Austin Bold, you've got Billy Forbes. He'll be up top with Dioff. Kleber gets the night off as we are underway.
Yeah, so Kleber on the bench to start, but there you see Forbes up top. 3 goals in his last 2 games, really just been on a hot streak, and the Austin Bold as a whole on a very good streak.
First match at home since August 8th. They would hit the road to San Antonio August 15th with the Austin Bold. That was their first of 5 straight matches on the road. It's 6 unbeaten the run for the Bold now. That has them back above the playoff line. Each team identical records, 3 wins, 4 draws, 2 defeats on the campaign.
I mean, these are the matches that you play for, Lincoln. 2 huge matches. If one of these teams can emerge with 6 points, I mean, you're all but sealing a spot in the postseason. And a win tonight is a huge step toward that.
We had a half-hour lightning delay. Rain is coming down lightly here in Austin. Of course, FC Tulsa, no stranger to weather delays here in Texas. Several hours, of course, down in the valley against RGV last month. Mentioned RGV and San Antonio underway with the South Texas Derby. Both teams on the board. We'll get you caught up a little bit later on. Here's Fabian Garcia, one of the returners for the Bold this year. Same can be said for Amobio Kugo. This was a Bold team that returned 15 players from its inaugural roster last season. The bulk of the players last year were signed to 3-year contracts to create consistency for head coach Marcelo Serrano. And it's that kind of consistency with veterans that have allowed him to tinker a little with the formation now ever since that road trip.
Yeah, absolutely. He's had a chance to move some pieces around, and you got some guys returning from injuries. Some guys are healthy now. The COVID scare from last month or a month and a half ago, that is no longer an issue. So it's nice for head coach Marcelo Serrano to be able to work with a full squad.
Of course, FC Tulsa with the new ownership under the Kraft brothers this year, what a difference it has made along with the rebranding. They were unbeaten all the way up until that trip to San Antonio on August 22nd. They had never been unbeaten even through 3 matches as a franchise.
And for me, Lincoln, it really starts with the solidity and the consistency of that back line for Tulsa. Pretty much the same 4 guys, especially the two center backs all playing.
Suarez out to Zaguro.
And Lewis in goal. Talking about Garcia, Bourgeois, and as the center back pairing there for Tulsa, and it's paid dividends.
Again, Michael Encian, second year at the helm, after taking over back in 2018 as interim head coach for Tulsa. Of course, he is a Tulsa native anchoring that sideline. Through the back line as it passes off the boot of Bourgeois. Bourgeois in a bit of a homecoming. He's from Cypress, Texas, out east. Lincoln Rose, Arch Bell with you. We are on site. Fans still not permitted here in Austin. You'll see some spectators. They are parents of ball boys as well as members of the Bold staff, most of whom trying to sit up high enough that they are under shelter. These teams combined for 4 goals when they met in Tulsa, their first meeting on the year. Tulsa took a 1-0 lead. Austin would tie it up. Tulsa would go up 2-1. Austin again would find an equalizer. I mentioned that 5-match road swing for Jome and company. That was the only match in which they fell behind. Yeah,
and that just goes to show you just the strong mentality that the Bold had during that road trip, and to be able to come away from a 5-match road trip with 7 points, hugely impressive. And for being honest, it could have been a lot more, because for all intents and purposes, up 4-0 at halftime at Colorado Springs. That's a match that you usually win, but sometimes in football those things happen. And then, of course, at San Antonio, a late Jose Gallegos goal in stoppage time. That made for a 1-1 draw between the two teams. But despite that, I think Marcelo Serrano is pretty happy with how it all went.
Yeah, if you told the Bold before that road trip, mind you, they had not played a road match this year before that 5-match swing. If you told them you'd come through unbeaten, they would take it, but you could argue they left 6 points on the table. They gave up a goal at the death against San Antonio, who otherwise has been the class here in Group D. And, of course, you mentioned the 4 goals surrendered in the second half to Colorado Springs. Essentially all 8 goals were scored on the same end of the pitch where the weather dominated the flow of that match. And then more recently, Oklahoma City came back to answer Austin, a match in which you could argue Billy Forbes found a second goal for a game winner but was ruled offside. We will mention that head coach Marcelo Serrano is back on the bench for Austin. After the 4 road matches, he did not make it to Oklahoma City, was under the weather. Ryan Thompson filled in admirably as the manager that night. Marcelo mentioned to us he was watching live at home on the TV. He was screaming at the goal allowed by Oklahoma City, and he was screaming at the goal disallowed by Billy Forbes in the second half. Here's Sion McFarland on the back line to Tuamasi. Tuamasi on loan from FC Dallas. What a spark he was at the end of last year in pursuit of Copa Tejas. A nice article in the Austin American Statesman today from journalist Chris Bills documenting the fact that Austin tried to get a trade for Billy Forbes last year. When it did not go through, they instead got a loan from FC Dallas and Francis Satuahene, and part of that loan was also bringing in Tuamasi. And boy, did Tuamasi show off his capability of being a finisher. Here is Forbes on the right side with new teammate Tuamasi.
Well, Tuamasi was 7 games this season so far, and like you said, just a good contributor. And Forbes, who's so accustomed to playing on the wing in his career, and now this season in Austin playing more of a central role, more of just a number 9, and he's really flourished in that position, and the Bold are benefiting from it.
We saw Sion McFarland with the toss last year, such a dynamic player, Sion, among the league's leaders in assists despite being an outside defender. Well, this year he's matched up with a man almost the mirror image in Ishmael Jome. Ish Jome on the opposite end, also capable of running up and down that far touchline.
Ish Jome was just a revelation last time, Lincoln, that we were here. He had a pair of goals. I mean, just creating chances. He's really become just a fantastic player for the Bold.
That was DaCosta who got tied up with the boot.
It's interesting in midweek for Tulsa. DaCosta, who's usually a starter, did not start in the midweek against RGV, but Tulsa able to get by without them. But you're talking about 15 days and 5 games for Tulsa, so you can expect some rotation and things like that.
They got a couple of early goals this year from DaCosta. They both would prove to be equalizers. A little dry spell since then. There's Elton Garcia, who anchors our 4-man crew. Ricardo Ocampo, Eric Wood, and then the man who's these days got to be able to count to 5 instead of 3. They've added some extra credit for Brandon Gardner and all of our 4th officials this season in the USL Championship. And again, as we reach the 7th minute, this will carry on to the 8-minute 46-second mark. What you're seeing here comes just shortly after the unveiling of the Black Players Alliance, the organization recognized by the USL and the USLPA, the mission to educate and empower its members to use their platforms to affect positive change in their communities throughout the league. Of course, the first 7 minutes of this match showing the Austin Bold and FC Tulsa have come together to recognize the fight for equality, diversity, and inclusivity by using those first 7 minutes of tonight's match to honor the ongoing movement around social injustice and the need for positive change in our sport and in our society. Again, 7 minutes, symbolic of the 7 gunshots in Kenosha, paralyzing Mr. Blake. And of course, this will take us to the 8-minute 46-second mark, reminding us of, again, what sparked a lot of the awareness up in Minneapolis with George Floyd's death.
Absolutely. I had a chance, Lincoln, to visit with Amobi Akugo last week. This was right after the MLS games that were suspended when the players decided not to play, and had a chance to visit with him. And this is a team. The Austin Bold is a team that it's not just football that they're talking about. They talk about these social issues as well, and the USL League as a whole.
Amobio Kugo, no shortage of irons in the fire. He is quite a bit more than just a professional soccer player. Working on his sports law degree.
He's a jack of all trades, man. He really is.
Already has an online business helping fellow professional athletes manage their income and finances. The frugal athlete. A moment ago there, Diego Restrepo under fire for the first time tonight, able to handle the pressure. And offside flag is up.
So you see Martinez right there. They tried to go long to Martinez, did Tulsa, and boy, he's such a dangerous player. Like I said, in the midweek against RGV, everybody was talking about Suarez getting the 2 goals, but Martinez was just fantastic in that game. So solid, and just he's really a player that you have to contend with. I'd put the midfielder Moloto, such a good passer, creative player. So it's also really armed with some firepower, with some talent, and the Bold are going to have to be ready. They're going to have to be compact and organized there in the back.
Sean Lewis will send it in touch. Both of our goalkeepers have been between the pipes for their respective club each and every match this year. I think neither of us would have been surprised had they gotten a night or 2 off throughout this compact season. Austin Bold have even signed a couple of young players from local academies to give Diego Restrepo a bit of a breather. In fact, Vincent Tosca is one of the newest members of the Bold. He is listed as the backup keeper in his first night, dressed as a teammate of Diego Restrepo.
That's right. And then you also have Derek Espinal from Westlake, 17 years old. 17 years old.
Marcelo Serrano's ultimate goal, he believes his duty as a coach here in the USL Championship is eventually to get this roster to where about a third of its players are local. He said if it's 50-50, that would be perfect. But realistically, right now, a third. That wasn't possible last year when you're just trying to start a team from scratch. But he has it close, about 8 players this year, even without Chris Tierpak, who is opting out of this season, obviously for COVID reasons, becoming a father for the first time.
And I mean, Lincoln, I can't appreciate enough what Marcelo Serrano has done in the short time that he's been here in Austin, and bringing in these young players to train with, talking about guys like Jermaine Taylor and Edson Brothhead and Kleber. I mean, Javi Baez. There's so much experience on this Bold roster, and so those experienced players have a chance to teach these young local products, and it's a fantastic environment for them. And a lot of, when teams start and everything, they talk about, oh, we're going to rely on the local youth. We're going to go local. We're going to go young. And Marcelo Serrano and the Austin Bold, they actually walk the walk. They do it. And the proof is in the roster and all these young kids that are on the team.
You saw the score. San Antonio has found a couple of goals, including insurance for the first time, up 3-1 in that 42nd minute against RGV. I think both of these teams at this point are rooting for San Antonio the rest of the way. Not any interest in RGV or Oklahoma City catching them from behind. They would like to know that it's coming down to just these 2 clubs for that second playoff spot, as you get another look at the 2 just getting tangled up. Tuamasi with Suarez.
Yeah, just a little foul. 2 teams getting to know each other again.
Again, Sean Lewis in goal for FC Tulsa. 27-year-old. With Diego Restrepo, former league goalkeeper of the year, on the opposite end. A throw coming up here for the visitors.
Yeah, McFarland thought that he had kept that in, but I think that is the right call. That ball did just go slightly out.
You can see the rain. It was lightning that delayed us for a half hour.
It was a little deceiving because for much of the pregame, the sun was out, but then if you look to the south, kind of the southeast, you could see the storm clouds.
This one knocked down by DaCosta. FC Tulsa never trailed against Austin when they met for the first time. Up in downtown Tulsa during that road swing. Michael Encian would see his men claim 2 leads in that matchup, but each time it would evaporate.
So this front attacking three for FC Tulsa is really interesting. You have Marlon on the right, of course Suarez on the left, and Martinez in the middle. And Marlon's a player. He's so good at getting up on that right wing, but he also tracks back in defense. So it's everything that you want from that position. And they're gonna be making the Austin Bolt work a lot. That's for sure.
A big opportunity here for Tulsa. Zaguru, the Albanian, delivers. Taylor with the head on it. Austin with the first 2 touches. And let's see if they are going to need to bring out some help for Diego Restrepo, who may have been caught in a bit of traffic there on that set piece.
And here comes Tosca. He's coming off the bench right now to start warming up, and it just might be that he's going to have to come in. Restrepo's just been a mainstay in this Austin Bolt team ever since they started last season. But
played all 800 minutes this year. This would be the first time for Tosca. Another look. As, oh yeah, just a heel from Taylor catching Restrepo. Diego will do everything he can to stay in this match.
Tosca, who was with Stump Down Athletic outside of Charlotte last year. And so a new arrival. We'll see if he gets an opportunity. Restrepo, I think it was in the last game that we had here, Lincoln. Restrepo, I think, suffered a knock, but was able to continue, and see if he's able to do that here.
Yeah, it looks like, again, he just caught the back of the heel on his upper lip, and he's going to stay in. So still 5 substitutions available for his head coach, Marcelo Serrano.
There's the thumbs up, so looks like Restrepo's okay. Also good to see Marcelo back on the sideline as well.
Yeah, under the weather, and knew that he had a capable top assistant, Ryan Thompson, to step in. Billy Forbes looking to turn. Nice job by FC Tulsa to get him tangled up. Billy Forbes can go quiet. San Antonio has seen him both hot and cold in his 3 times as a professional down there. Oh, so many memories, though, that he's responsible for, including a North American Soccer League championship in his rookie year back in 2014, but left the team last year in September, a free agent this year, and with Andre Lima and Chris Tierpak unavailable for the restart, what a great benefit it was to have Billy Forbes there, already a member of your roster. He is more than happy to shoulder the burden for the bulk of the scoring.
Just so good, both for club and for country, for Turks and Caicos International, and he's going to get a crack at World Cup qualifying here pretty soon for Turks and Caicos. They're going to get 4 matches, so you know, it's one of those things where when you're playing against Billy Forbes, he's going to make you work the whole 90 minutes.
Already the all-time leading goal scorer for Turks and Caicos. And a foul here on Javi Baez. Hey, you talked about some of the younger Bold players when they join this team. They get the likes of Baez, Kleber, Taylor. I'm sure a lot of them expect that they're going to have to pay for that kind of clinic. But instead, they're getting paid to work with these veterans.
Probably have to take them out to dinner or something like that, right?
Depends what the maximum occupancy is. Opportunity building for FC Tulsa, looking to find the lead here on the road. And a corner kick coming up as the threat is not over.
Yeah, that's good defending there. Marlon, there he is, the Brazilian. He's so good on that right wing. We were just talking about him, a dynamic player. He was looking for Martinez, maybe looking for a little bit of a cutback pass to Suarez, but good defending from the Bold on that side.
Marlon, the 24-year-old out of Rio de Janeiro, joined the club in August of last season for the final stretch. And we are back to the left boot here of Zaguro.
Tulsa's so good at linking play. You have to be so aware of them, especially when they are in the final third.
Zaguro sends one in. First touch from Restrepo. They'll send it back up to midfield.
It was a good corner kick there from Zaguro. That was the second one, and both have been very difficult balls to handle.
Lewis collects and will send it the other way. And offside flag is up, ball back to Austin. So again, the Bold, because of a couple of those rescheduled matches with Colorado Springs and with Tulsa next week, a really compact schedule right now. And last year they were the oldest team in the USL Championship. That's one of the downsides of having such thick resumes.
Yeah.
And so we saw them fade a little bit last year, falling out of a top 4 playoff hosting spot into being the 8th seed, almost upsetting Phoenix. The question is, will they have a fade here late this year, playing almost 2 matches per week in crunch time? We haven't seen that so far.
Yeah, so far hasn't been the case, and it's been a long, strange trip, right? To borrow a Grateful Dead lyric, if I may, of a season with the layoff from the pandemic and everything, and then coming back. But I think when you look at that 5-game road trip, that kind of goes to show you that the Bold are really up for the challenges this season. So I'm optimistic for them that they can handle the rigors of the late season.
Saw Colorado Springs there in stoppage time, looking to wrap up a scoreless draw with the energy. McFarland just outside the area.
Good work from McFarland. Goes 1v1, beats the defender, and earns the foul. And that's going to be a very dangerous set-piece opportunity. Here's the work from McFarland. And yeah, he's trying to split the 2 defenders. And I think there's a little bit of a forearm there from Seguro, and that's enough to earn the dead ball opportunity there, but right on the edge of the area.
So Ish Jome at the moment stands over this. Baez is more than capable as well.
Jome with that left foot, he's more than capable of going for goal here.
Lewis organizes the troops, defending the Tulsa frame. Bold looking to strike first. They'll have a corner kick coming up.
Boy, that was a good strike from Jome. That was a really nice look.
Kevin Garcia intervenes, heading that one away for now.
Good work from Garcia to head that away, because that was definitely on target, and Lewis was going to have to make a save. And especially when it's raining and the ball's wet, in these conditions, not easy for a goalkeeper to handle a strike like that.
Javi Baez, 4 assists this year to go with his 3 goals. Headed right at Lewis from Garcia. Sean Lewis truly tested for the first time.
And again, the reason why Tulsa has improved so much this season, a lot of it has to do with Lewis. You just have goalkeeping consistency, and that's played a major part in that team from last year's struggle as the Tulsa Roughnecks FC, and then this year as FC Tulsa. They've just done such a better job, a much improved outfit.
Moments later, it's Garcia thwarting an effort from Suarez down the pitch. This ball will stay with Tulsa for the throw. They've been contending with the rain for these first 23 minutes. Ball sent in. Jermaine Taylor's there. Billy Forbes able to turn, full speed ahead. Down the stretch he comes. It's Billy Forbes. He'll center this one, uncontested almost off his left boot. Extra tap, and it's back to Lewis with the stop.
Boy, that was a very dangerous counterattack. That was Billy Forbes at his best. I think if he just had a little bit more weight on that pass to Dioff, it might have been a better opportunity. Here it is right there. There's the layoff. No, it was pretty good. Actually, pretty good pace on that. And I think that was one that Tomasi, he was also making the run down the right. So you had 2 options there on the right and the left. He goes with Dioff. Dioff was open. Nice save from Lewis.
And quickly, it's Suarez the other way. After the best opportunity for the Bold moments ago, probably the most concerned Lewis has been so far.
But that gives you a sense of what the Bold can do on the counterattack, Lincoln, and how quickly they can strike.
Well, since 1947, Select has been the leader in soccer ball quality and innovation. Select is the official ball supplier of the USL Championship and many of the elite leagues throughout Europe. With latest Select products and special offers, visit selectsocceramerica.com. Michael Encian has seen a couple of stressful moments defensively, but each time he has seen his men quickly work the ball back the other direction for a quick transition. It's Austin who's trying to speed things up and have a perhaps different look than the squad that went to Tulsa this past month.
And I think what Tulsa would like to do is to get DaCosta more involved. Certainly Moloto. You want those two midfielders, those two attacking, forward-thinking midfielders to have more time on the ball.
Martinez, who is pulled back into the midfield. With the match rescheduled from back in July being on Tuesday, you've got Tulsa staying in town regardless of the outcome tonight. Left-footed delivery. Restrepo, that ball spills loose. And Tulsa looks to get another bite at the apple.
Yeah, it was good work there from Tulsa to win the ball back the way they did. Good passing.
Quick touch from Zaguro. He's handled a couple of corner opportunities tonight with that left boot. Top of the 18, but back to Austin. Billy Forbes. Nice job holding him up. A little size mismatch, but now that the ball lands on his feet, perhaps speed to his favor. To Amasi on the opposite wing. Forbes will sprint into the box without the ball. Emma Tuamasi again on loan from FC Dallas. Will get tripped up, but no foul.
Yeah, not a penalty for me. I think he went down on his own accord there a little bit. So I think that's a good no call from the referee.
Emma last year 3 goals in 18 matches. His first year on loan, joined them mid-season. That ball remains with Austin. Again, we're still expecting a hydration break in this first half. Both sides have had opportunities. Both keepers have come through. Zaguro. And flag is in fact up. Well, don't miss a minute of action in 2020. Sign up today and get alerts all year long by following your club on ESPN.com. You can search for the Austin Bold and FC Tulsa, then click the follow button to keep up with the latest news and scores. Plus, get reminders on the Bold and FC Tulsa's next match. You can go to ESPN.com now and click follow for your club. And, well, we have a whistle here. Let's see if anything else comes of it. Billy Forbes has certainly been entangled with some dance partners wearing all white tonight.
He's just a nightmare to defend Lincoln. I mean, he's obviously very physical. He's a strong player, low center of gravity, so fast. On that last sequence there for Tulsa, you saw a little bit of frustration from Suarez. He's not getting the looks and the touches that he wants. He's a little bit frustrated there with his teammate Zaguro, and just wanting a little bit better connectivity on that left flank for Tulsa.
There's the Brazilian manager of the Austin Bold.
Yeah, it's such a pleasure to speak with Marcelo about his work in the game of football, just in his career and everything. And Ryan Thompson was ready to coach that game the other day and last week in Oklahoma City. Marcelo's also handed over the reins to Gilberto Damiano as the head coach of the U.S. Virgin Islands, and Gilberto is ready for that opportunity. I spoke with Gilberto the other day. He's just so appreciative of everything that Marcelo did for him. So both at the international and club level, Marcelo Serrano really making an impact.
Restart here. Tulsa briefly threatening. Here's Baez leading the charge now for the Bold. Has Forbes ahead of him, as well as McFarland off the back line. Oh, but well played by FC Tulsa. Can it lead to a counter? Suarez gives it away to Billy. McFarland able to dissect that midfield to Dioff. What a surprise Dioff, the rookie, has been this year. Looking for Jome. Again, one of your two wing defenders pushing forward on a regular basis for the Bold.
Yeah,
Amobi Okugo, by the way, playing in the midfield tonight.
Yeah, Dioff's so good. Had a brace against RGV in that 3-2 win down there. And of course, Jome, the impact that he's had this year and joining the squad.
Austin looked like they were willing to concede this one, and they have to Tulsa. This ball will briefly get away. They thought it was going to be too heavy, but nice recovery. Suarez, eyes on Restrepo. Ooh, fires one home. FC Tulsa strikes first in the opening half hour. And Dario Suarez is red hot to begin September.
Scorching hot. I mean, that is a strike that he absolutely ripped off his right boot. You saw he took a look, he had the space, and he just put it in the cannon and boom, upper left. Let's take another look here. He sized it up, curling effort, and it just goes off the fingertips of Restrepo. Diego's going to want that one back, but it's a really nice effort there from Suarez, and I think Restrepo, he's going to feel like that he could have blocked that one, but that's a really, really tough one to try to stop. It's curling, it's wet, and Suarez had tons of pace on that. And all credit to him, 3 straight goals for Dario Suarez.
That is now 5 goals in the last 7 matches for Suarez, and it gives Tulsa another lead to defend against the Bold in this critical matchup between two teams tied for that second and final playoff spot. And it brings us to the first hydration break. With that said, perhaps no manager has done more with these hydration breaks this year than the man on the opposite bench, Marcelo Serrano.
Yeah, it seems like every time there's a hydration break that the Bold have come out and they've scored a goal. And what's interesting, Lincoln, is, if I'm not mistaken, in their last 3 home games, the Bold have actually gone down 1-0 in every single game. They were able to come back and beat RGV 4-1 in their last outing here. So they'll be looking to do the same. But coming out of the hydration break, the Bold have had a tendency to score within the first several minutes. But that's a tough break there. Again, I know Diego Restrepo is disappointed that he wasn't able to stop that, but do have to credit Suarez. He got it on target. We've had some rain. The ball's wet. Conditions are a little tricky, and that ball had some curl and some speed on it, and that's a good goal from Suarez. And listen, when you're hot, and the ball just seems to find the back of the net, and Suarez is feeling that right now.
Don't forget to follow the Austin Bold and FC Tulsa, as well as the rest of the USL Championship for the rest of this regular season on ESPN+. Home to the USL, MLS, UFC, and more. You can join nearly 8 million sports fans who have already discovered ESPN+ and watch the championship live every week. Sign up today at espnplus.com. And still, since this restart in July, the Bold have not had a shutout. They beat New Mexico in that March season opener right here at Bold Stadium 1-0. Since then, the Bold have even struggled to limit opponents to just 1 goal.
That New Mexico game, Lincoln, I think it was about 5 years ago.
That's right. Billy, still a step advantage. He'll be denied the angle. I don't know if you're playing the ball there, but they'll let it play on. Dioff gives it up. Here's the shot from 18, and it's skied over the crossbar by Tuamasi. Billy Forbes is wondering why he's not standing on the spot to attempt a penalty right now.
Yeah, and I think that was a really close call. I'd love to be able to see that again. Here, let's take another look. Here's Forbes bearing down on goal. Does he get the ball first?
No, I think that's fair.
I think because I think you see Billy Forbes just kind of, there's almost like he kind of leans into it. He's expecting the tackle. Maybe if he doesn't do that, maybe he does get the call. But there was still an opportunity there for the Bolt to score, but the shot was skied over the net. I think it was I believe it was Tuamasi who fired over the net. Not entirely sure, but there was still an opportunity to score. They just weren't able to convert.
So the last 2 teams that have had a lead on Austin both go by the same name, FC Tulsa. They did it at home, and they're doing it here on the road.
That's nice from Baez right there.
Dario Suarez, the difference maker right now on your scoreboard. An unassisted stroke from distance. Here is Suarez, the potential hero. Tomasi to Dioff.
And still plenty of time for Austin. There's no need to panic. This is a veteran team, so they'll keep their composure. They've created some early chances here, so they'll know they'll get some.
Service from McFarland. Recovery from Omar Sis, who gets the start tonight for the Bold.
Good tackle there from Taylor.
That one will just miss the upper 90.
You saw that Martinez had his back to goal, and he was ready to make the turn, but Taylor gets in there and stops any thought of a Tulsa counterattack. So good defending there from Taylor to keep Martinez from starting a counter for Tulsa.
Well, I don't think Sean Lewis, as well as he's played back there, expects this to be a 1-0 final. The way we've seen both clubs move up and down the pitch.
Yeah, definitely very, very open, and that's kind of that's what we tend to see here at the Circuit of the Americas at Bolt Stadium, where it's usually lots of entertainment, lots of goals, very open play. The Austin Bold are a team that they like to get forward, and sometimes that means they leave a little bit of space in the back, but goals are usually happen frequently around here.
Unfortunately for FC Tulsa, if it did result in a tie in the standings and a tiebreaker would be needed, again, right now it's that third tiebreaker, goals for. Obviously, goals against would certainly favor FC Tulsa. They've conceded just 10, second best in Group D. San Antonio, that was just the 6th goal they've allowed this year when they let RGV briefly tie it up tonight. The Bold have had a few more holes in that back line this year, but at the same time also have produced more fireworks up top. 19 goals to the dozen this year for Tulsa. And we'll get a foul that'll send us back to the visitors. That was right in front of Michael Encian.
And I haven't seen any type of card. I think that was Jome. Let's see here. Yeah, just head-to-head, and boy, that's tough, and that was on Marlon right there.
Both managers have the full allotment of 5 substitutions, 3 substitution windows, not including halftime. Lincoln Rose, Arch Bell with you tonight, along with our great crew here in Austin. Appreciate the opportunity to chat with Marcelo Serrano earlier this week. It had been a while since we spoke to Coach Serrano, as, again, they'd been on the road, 5-match road swing. Had not had a road match before those 5.
Planes, trains, and automobiles for the Austin Bold.
At least 2 of the 3.
No train. There wasn't an airport train or anything like that.
Still a chance. No shower ring curtain salesman either. FC Tulsa, Dario Suarez, no surprise. If they produced a goal, it was from the man who wears the 92 on his back, and he came through at the half-hour mark. This could just as easily become 2-0 as it could be 1-1. Both sides, plenty of quality opportunities. And how's that in trust as McFarland heads it back to his keeper. Oh, right through the legs to Billy. Forbes, can he take advantage of the good fortune? He's got 3 dancing partners. Forbes will lay it out, and it'll be a corner kick coming up for Austin.
Boy, that's just great work right there from Billy Forbes. Making the couple moves, lays it off for Tomasi. Tomasi just unable to convert, but it's just that the finishing product from the Bold is lacking, but the chances are there. You see right there, he takes out 2 defenders, and that's good tracking back right there from Tulsa to be able to deflect that out for a corner.
I remember Billy's pro debut back in 2014 in San Antonio. He was a second-half sub. He would finish that match with an assist and 2 goals. He loves to get teammates involved just as much as he enjoys finishing. This ball sent in. Tulsa wants a handball on Taylor. Not going to get that call. Back out to Sis. Chipped in, looking for Dioff. No, it's Billy. And McFarland will just take a crack at it, but Lewis never has to come through with a save.
Yeah, and again, just more chances coming for the Bold. And you have to think if they could just continue with this rhythm and continue pelting Lewis in the Tulsa goal, that something's going to fall their way.
And Sean Lewis, 2 shutouts this year, just 10 goals allowed. Able to produce a shutout at St. Louis and then in a draw with San Antonio. What a year San Antonio's had with first-year head coach Alan Marcina, promoted from assistant last year. Of course, it was Alan Marcina who was Billy Forbes' head coach in that North American Soccer League season, which they produced the title.
And it was the Austin Bowl getting a taste of one of the best youth players in the country in Jose Gallegos, a guy many are saying that's going to be playing on a USA team at an under-20 World Cup, and him scoring a stoppage time equalizer in the 92nd minute.
Jome, a little give and go, is waiting for the back end. Here it comes. This stays with Austin. Bold have so many capable finishers. Billy Forbes has been the consistent one, but we've seen several other players produce a brace during their tenure with this Austin side. McFarland slips it through. Bias. Oh, is he onside? Headed Lewis with a save. Flag stayed down. Sean Lewis, no time to think, just pure reaction. It'll be a corner kick, though, for the Bold.
That was unbelievable from Lewis. What a save. I mean, USL Championship, there's your save of the week right there. I'm going to vote for that. That was incredible. Let's look at this again. Here it is, ball into Forbes. And, yeah, I mean, Lewis, he hardly didn't know anything about it. Just reacts, makes the save.
Is this Billy's boot or his knee?
It's a low hop, and it's a weird deflection, but Lewis makes the save. What a save.
You have our permission to vote multiple times for that save from Lewis. This ball headed up and over, a narrow miss for the Bold. Again, empty-handed.
It's okay to vote multiple times.
Multiple times, yep. Once by mail.
Okay. Good.
And then refresh that browser if you want as well.
Well, I think Lewis has just earned my vote right there. That was just a terrific stop.
If this proves to be a 1-goal match, that's the reason why FC Tulsa will wake up in Austin, ahead of Austin in the Group D standings. Michael Incian knows that there's a whole nother half to play. Boy, how many favorable 50-50 bounces have gone the way of the Bold, but just has not led to a goal.
Yeah, and you have to wonder at halftime if Marcelo Serrano decides to make a change, if he might bring in like a guy like Kleber, who is a composed finisher, somebody who you just bring him off the bench and you can get a little bit more sharpness there.
Yeah, tonight it'd be Sonny Guadarrama, who actually has Kleber's spot coming off the bench. Kleber will have tonight off before potentially we see him on Tuesday, but that would be quite a return for Sonny G, who produced a goal in the restart match, but has not been with the Bold since. In terms of being available on the roster, here's McFarland with a throw.
And of course, Guadarrama very capable of pulling the string and striking from distance.
We expect several minutes of stoppage here in the first half. Of course, we've grown accustomed to that here during the restart. And Restrepo's going to get an uncontested opportunity to secure this ball. Let's see if Austin pushes forward with a numbers advantage.
Marlon's still on the turf.
To Amasi to Jome. And they are now going to stop the play for Marlon. Back on the opposite end of the pitch.
And I think he got tangled there with believe it was Jome. Yeah, here you see right here, Jome and Taylor, and Marlon comes in really strong, and then I don't know if it was maybe just a bit of a knock or.
Yeah, he was holding that left leg going down.
Almost, it seemed like a bit of miscommunication there between Jome and Taylor, and about playing back to Restrepo, and Marlon was coming like a freight train, and maybe just a little bit of a twist there on the wet surface.
A goal in the 30th minute from Dario Suarez for FC Tulsa is your difference right now here in Austin. That man, you could argue, is also the difference.
Yeah, he's the reason why it's not 1-1 right now, because for all the world, if Billy Forbes is 3 feet in front of goal all alone and has a chance to redirect it in, it's usually going to hit the back of the net, but Lewis had other ideas.
Certainly mindful. Several FC Tulsa fans planning to gather tonight at Elgin Park, just across from their home stadium there at One Oak, for their watch party. Hopefully screaming into masks with every highlight save.
Nice little setup there at One Oak. Just, I like it.
The skyline of downtown Tulsa.
Downtown. Good fans. Scissor Tail podcast. Was listening to those guys this week. Enjoyed it. Good work, fellas. So yeah, it's good. It's good to see Tulsa. It's good to see the game doing well there.
Jome able to keep his feet. Foul on FC Tulsa. And there will be no fewer than 5 more minutes to enjoy here in the first half. I said no fewer than, rather. And Baez in the Bold will get an opportunity here. Fun trivia. The last time there was a pro soccer match at House Park here in Austin, it was between Austin and Tulsa. That was postponed a day, and of course then the following Monday, the flooding that would push the former Austin Aztecs to a new home. The next year they would not return, and it wasn't until last year that pro soccer came back to the Lone Star State. Sean Lewis directing his men on this set piece. Javi Baez and Ish Jome lingering around that ball. Bold trail here in the opening half. Jome just wide of frame.
Boy, Jome has had 2 really good free kick efforts in this first half. The first one required a good stop, a good block from Lewis, and that one just missing that top right.
Again, Sean Lewis, the pride of Rockford, Michigan, back this year for another tour with Tulsa. His second campaign. Last year, a Roughneck, part of his club that struggled. This year, a new look, literally, and results piling up in the Group D table. They are level with the Austin Bold right now. 3 wins, 4 draws, just 2 losses. Again, those losses consecutive at San Antonio against Sporting KC 2. Their only 2 defeats on the year. They started to get results in pairs. 2 ties to start the year, 2 wins, 2 ties, 2 losses. They're hoping to make this now back-to-back wins after knocking off RGV at home the other night.
They're about 45 minutes from doing it, and so far, some good last-ditch defending and some great goalkeeping has done it.
Friendly ball back to Lewis. Forbes was hoping for a miscue. If Billy has it his way, he's going to be able to tell Sean Lewis all about his clothing line that he runs in his spare time. Making up for the fact that Austin fans can't be in the ear of the opposing keeper tonight. That's Archbell on the drums that you hear in the background.
Jack of all trades, Lincoln.
Oh, beautiful ball here. Can they capitalize? DaCosta looking for help. And just can't connect. The pitch again a little slick after the rain that got us started here following the half-hour lightning delay.
And that's a little bit better. That's better work there better connection between Zaguro and Suarez. There's been some frustration, between the two, but on that last one they were able to connect, and Suarez gained a little touch to DaCosta.
Tulsa has never beaten Austin. They lost all 3 meetings last year. They played, of course, to a draw this past month. Looking to grab a full 3 points, and boy, would they be welcomed. Putting Tulsa in second behind just San Antonio and possibly playoff bound. 2 teams will tangle again on Tuesday.
And if you could do that, if you get this win tonight, then you can live with the draw on Tuesday because you're still 3 points up.
McFarland will send one airborne to Lewis. No mistake from Lewis. Again, Austin is in the midst of a 6-match unbeaten streak that has put them ahead of Tulsa, at least for now. And there's your whistle for the first half. All told, about 50 minutes between the Austin Bold and FC Tulsa. Virtually nothing separates them on the table right now. A Dario Suarez goal separates them on the scoreboard. We've reached halftime, the live music city capital of the world.
Crack open summer with the taste of freedom. Budweiser's red, white, and blue camo cans. Available for a limited time only. In stores now.
No matter what pops up during your day, Ascension makes it easy to get the care you need. See a doctor at home 24/7 with Ascension Online Care. Visit ascension.org/online care. No matter what pops up during your day, Ascension makes it easy to get the care you need. Anytime, from anywhere, with Ascension Online Care. Visit ascension.org/online care.
Introducing Budweiser Nitro Gold, a first-of-its-kind lager infused with nitro for a taste as smooth as silk. Flip, pour hard, wait for it.
Halftime here at Bold Stadium. FC Tulsa, a 1-goal advantage at the midway mark. Assists over the top for Sonny. Guadarrama from 18. There's your answer. Later.
What a great goal from Sonny Guadarrama. Takes the ball off his chest, makes a move, left foot, trying to get a goal back.
35 minutes in, looking for Billy on the back post. Back within one. Here come the Bold.
Well, there you go. That's exactly what you needed. And just like 2 weeks ago against Oklahoma City, coming out of the hydration break, the Bold are able to get a goal, this time on a dead ball opportunity.
The Chilean sends in the cross. Joe with the finish. We are level in Austin.
They're able to stretch the RGV defense. Space opened up. Cross into Joe. Great finish from Joe. Holy smokes.
Joe again sends one in. Off the crossbar, it goes home for Diop.
What a great goal there for the Bold. And Diop, boy, what an enormous confidence boost for that young man. Great run from him. Good finish. It's Joe doing the creating, generating the opportunity. And Diop, that's exactly what you want to see from a young player.
Javi Baez have in mind. Jome from 25. Is Jome a classic from distance?
What a goal. What a goal, Lincoln. Jome, the man of the hour, left-footed bullet into net.
The United Soccer League and its 47th championship in League One clubs stand united in support of diversity, inclusivity, equality, and compassion. Together, we can make a difference. Together, we can create change. Together, we are united against racism.
Lapa flicks it up for Brett. It's an outstanding combination and a winning combination at that.
Now out wide to Aiden Daniels. Daniels one-on-one, steps away from the jam, curls and scores!
6 bodies in the box to aim at. Flicked and saved by Parker.
Here's a chance now. Opportunity finds the back of the net. Stavros Zarakostas. Our first McDivitt corner kick of the second half, and there's another save from Abe Rodriguez. What about this show from the goalkeeper?
Into the box it goes. It's Ortiz on the half volley. And Charlotte take the lead.
We'll step into it, over the bar, and he scored! Great shot by Cuevas as he sent it over the wall.
The United Soccer League and its 47th championship in League One clubs stand united in support of diversity, inclusivity, equality, and compassion. Together, we can make a difference. Together, we can create change. Together, we are united against racism.
Halftime in Austin, Lincoln Rose Arch Bell with you here at Bold Stadium as Dario Suarez right now the difference maker, his 5th goal of this campaign, has FC Tulsa in the driver's seat, but right now it's technically the Bold. These are the standings coming into tonight. San Antonio looking to run away with it. It looks like they'll go to bed tonight with 27 points at the expense of RGV, still winless on the year. That's 3 draws. That hasn't with those 3 points, but I think for the most part, Austin, Tulsa, both rooting for San Antonio to run away with the top spot so that no points can be awarded to Oklahoma City or RGV really the rest of the way. And this is going to be a productive second half as well as Tuesday for these two teams to really try to grab that playoff spot for themselves. You see it is Oklahoma City settling for a point tonight. RGV, a valiant effort, now have come back. They trailed 3-1 a little bit earlier. They are back within a goal. Mind you, San Antonio had only allowed 5 goals all year. 2 tonight from RGV, who had some moments where they looked good against Tulsa the other evening on the road. And of course, your other Copa Texas side or Copa Tejas side, but not in Group D. Over there in Group C is El Paso in a rivalry matchup trailing midway through with New Mexico United.
So yeah, some good results there. Rio Grande Valley, again, 2 goals in San Antonio, so very impressive there from RGV. Maybe that attack is kicked into gear.
Yeah, still a half hour to go down there at Toyota Field. A couple of recent updates for Austin, of course, something that we've hammered home a few times tonight. You talk about a 6-pointer tonight. Well, there's another 6-pointer on Tuesday between these two sides. And we saw a match last month where Austin Bold restarted their season where they had to get a waiver. They didn't have enough men to even fill out their entire lineup, including the substitutes. That's not the case anymore. They have found plenty of depth now. Tasca, the backup goalkeeper tonight, we almost saw him have to come in. Quintanilla, another one as well.
Yeah, so it just goes to show you that Marcelo Serrano looking to bulk up that squad, add that depth. And as you said, Tasca, looked like we were really, really close to seeing him. Quintanilla, he'll be a help as well.
Austin Bold trying to defend their 6-match unbeaten streak, trying to do so here at home. Have their work cut out for them. They trail by 1.
Crack open summer with the taste of freedom. Budweiser's red, white, and blue camo cans. Available for a limited time only. In stores now.
No matter what pops up during your day, Ascension makes it easy to get the care you need. See a doctor at home 24/7 with Ascension Online Care. Visit ascension.org/online care. No matter what pops up during your day, Ascension makes it easy to get the care you need. Anytime, from anywhere, with Ascension Online Care. Visit ascension.org/online care.
Introducing Budweiser Nitro Gold. A first-of-its-kind lager, infused with nitro for a taste as smooth as silk. Flip, pour hard, wait for it.
Both teams re-emerging from the locker rooms here at Bold Stadium. Austin Bold last year made the playoffs in their first campaign, trying to do so again here. Diego Restrepo early on helped keep the sheet clean.
Yeah, so early save there from Restrepo. Also another save here at the other end. Kind of a tricky header there, especially when the rain was probably at its heaviest there for Lewis, but he does a good job. One of the best opportunities of the half right here for the Austin Bold. Forbes lays it off, and Diop, the shot is saved there. Lewis was a busy man in this first half, making several saves.
Another bite at the apple here. It'd be Billy Forbes denied perhaps the save of the week, coming there from Sean Lewis, depending on tonight's outcome.
Yeah, there you go. So a trifecta of great saves there from Lewis. And here's the goal right here. Martinez, he feeds it to his countryman, Dario Suarez. And the right footer, Restrepo, a little late to it. And I know he wants that one back. Usually he saves that. But this time, again, with the rainy conditions, maybe that's how he was able to come off the fingertips of Restrepo. Suarez won't care. It's still a goal, and it still counts.
Well, if FC Tulsa can produce just its third shutout of the year, it will get 3 points to show for it and find themselves in second place. When you look at the numbers, anything in particular stand out for you?
Well, I think definitely the shots, Lincoln. I'd say 11-1 in favor of the Austin Bold. But key note there is the shots on target. So you see the shots from the Bold, and whether it's been like a deflection or just over the crossbar, Jome had a free kick that just barely missed. So not getting the shots on target that they would like. And I know that's something they're going to try to reverse in the second half.
I mean, remember those two losses in the restart to OKC and San Antonio when they lost by a combined 7-3. They outshot both those teams handily. Just could not find goals. That then would quickly get turned around in the 6-match unbeaten streak. As we take a look again at what is coming up, and well, this is critical as we look at both these schedules, because now it's time to try to predict, as for the pollsters, how the playoff race is going to come down. Obviously, both these teams meet again on Tuesday as they stay right here at Bold Stadium. Then FC Tulsa rivalry clash. They're up in the Sooner State against Oklahoma City. They'll head all the way down to the Valley, the longest road swing that they'll have this year. And then there is, again, first place San Antonio on the schedule, followed by one more matchup against Oklahoma City. You know, the Energy would love to be responsible for keeping Tulsa out of it. Conversely, Austin will head back down to the Valley. One more date with San Antonio, again, the class of Group D. They'll step outside of Group D play against Sporting KC2, and then they, too, will wrap up their regular season schedule against OKC Energy. If I recall, that's not going to be the same day that Oklahoma City also plays Tulsa.
That's right. But what's interesting to note, OKC Energy, really the chance they'll be a pivotal player in this playoff race on the last week for the last match for both teams here.
And the Tulsa matchup will be a few days after the fact. Well, you talk about guys who have put in the minutes. Josh Suggs has done that, certainly with New Mexico United, second all-time in USL Championship minutes. The cornerstone now in year 2 of New Mexico United. Great success a year ago, looking to continue it again this year. Over there in Group C, you've got the Colorado Switchbacks, who welcomed Austin Bold. Went to halftime trailing Austin 4-0, only for Austin to then concede 4 goals on that same end of the pitch. In the second half, 7th time we've seen a 4-4 draw in the history of this league. And then, of course, Tampa Bay Rowdies over there in Group H could very well be the first team to clinch an official playoff berth. They're just a point ahead of second place, but they are well ahead of third. And so just about any result can help punch their ticket over there again in Group H, the Rowdies. There's a former Tampa Bay Rowdy, Diego Restrepo. Spent several years in Florida with the Rowdies and the former Fort Lauderdale Strikers. More recently, he's been a Texas man in San Antonio with San Antonio FC, and now the past 2 years with the Austin Bold. Saw that one ball get past him right now. That's your difference on the scoreboard.
Yeah, I mean, really, if you think about it, Restrepo, a save that he usually makes. Meanwhile, Lewis saving that shot from point blank range from Billy Forbes, and there you go. That can make all the difference. The goalkeeper, with a top-notch save, and right now it's FC Tulsa looking at getting the 3 points.
Have not seen an indication for any substitutions at halftime. Remember, you get 3 windows for substitutions, but if it's at halftime, it does not count against those 3 windows. The reason why we talk about windows this year is because it's no longer just 3 subs. It is 5 subs in this unique campaign.
And it's going to be interesting to see what kind of substitutions Marcelo Serrano makes for the Bold. I'd have to think that like a Jorge Troncoso might get a chance to play, as a right winger. Maybe perhaps we see the return of Suddy Guadarrama.
Hurdle from McFarland. McFarland has space to work with, just a little heavy on the final touch.
And McFarland, boy, you saw what he can do with those runs. He has the pace. He can beat anybody 1v1 in this league. Just a little too heavy.
Sion came off the bench the other night. He's only made about half the starts this year. That's a luxury for the Bold at times to just bring him fresh off the bench at halftime.
Yeah, he's kind of played that role as a super sub. Sarah Mooten, another one. Valerie Sarah Mooten, another in that super sub type role for the Bold.
Both managers, all 5 subs still available. FC Tulsa, what adjustments will they make to maintain this advantage here in the second half?
So this is another a dangerous free kick here for the Bold, because you have Joan with that great left foot, so he's going to be able to play that right into the area deep in, and a chance here for Austin.
He'll concede this one to Baez with his right boot.
And yeah, you want Jones' height as well to be used as an advantage, and maybe like a back post run, get his head on it.
The pride of Reynosa, Mexico.
And I think this is too far out for Baez to go for goal, but he's going to try to play this into a teammate.
Can Lewis keep the sheet clean? A 1-goal lead for Tulsa. McFarland at the top of the 18. And Martinez will have some room to run. Numbers as well in those white kits, bumped off by Taylor. They'll say play on. As the captain with the physical play, and it pays off.
And that was, I tell you what, that was a dangerous one, because that was, for a second there was a 3v1 for Tulsa. Good play from Taylor.
Taylor, your captain on that back line tonight with Kleber unavailable. Lewis comes diving ahead 6 yards off his line to make sure that he gets to squash this attack on his own terms.
So Lewis, he was so involved in that first half, Lincoln making saves and everything, and sometimes that's all a goalkeeper needs, is just to get involved early. They're making saves, then he gets into rhythm, and then he becomes really difficult to beat.
Again, tonight's match has always been on the schedule. It's the Tuesday match that is the makeup date from back in July. Scheduled for July 23rd at the time. Looking for insurance here. No shot will come on Restrepo's frame. Now the other way with Tuamasi. It's just Tuamasi and Forbes in a sea of 5 all-white kits. Looking for help with numbers. Okugo in the midfield tonight. Dioff somehow still stays on that ball. We saw Jome in those highlights at halftime. A reminder that he was capable of that brace and an assist against RGV. Their last home date before the 5-match road swing.
And I think Jome in that spot right there, he needs to go 1v1. He needs to try to take on that defender to try to create a little bit more of an advantage.
Garcia up ahead to Baez. McFarland with a couple of dance partners. There'll be a corner kick coming up for the Bold. Big set piece opportunity as they look to level it early here in the second half.
Yeah, good strong start for the Bold here in the second half.
It'll be Baez.
Outswinger from Baez, and if that ball comes out, Jones going to be there at the top of the area to have a crack at it.
Already has one goal from that spot, does Jome, we mentioned, against RGV. Instead, they'll keep it tight. McFarland got ahead on it. No second touch just yet. It's Jome who maintains the opportunity. Forbes, back post. And McFarland looked like he would have been the target, but he takes a tumble. Taylor from 19 chips it in. Lewis never has to intervene following the corner kick a moment ago. And another beautiful transition the other way. It's Suarez leading the charge. Looking for insurance. Martinez tries to regroup on that right boot. Quick touch from Martinez and a nice job by Amoyo Okugo. Again, he's pushed up as a midfielder tonight. From that back line where he's a capable center back, you saw him intervene.
On that counterattack, Lincoln Marlon was he's waving his arms all over the place on that right wing. He was hollering for the ball. They didn't play it to him, and Austin was able to deal with it. But that was another good chance. That was a 3v2 counterattack there for Tulsa. So Austin, they're going for it. They're pushing those numbers forward, committing those numbers forward, and that's going to allow Tulsa that chance to counter.
Well, Matt Sheldon was hoping to get the ball back a minute ago when he was forward. They never returned the ball his way and was just stuck being a spectator the rest of the way.
Sheldon's he's a nice player, versatile. He can play either side, either wing, left, right back.
Flag stays down. Tuamasi out to Dioff. He's going to get support from Jome. Jome sends one inside the area. Austin unable to capitalize.
I think that's what Marcelo Serrano wants to see more of that. When you have those overlapping runs from Jome, he's so long and you think he's not going to be able to get to a ball, then he does it. And that left foot is so good at whipping the ball into the area. The more they do that, that goal's going to come.
It's still remarkable that Austin sits second on the table despite the fact that Edson Braffide still has not returned to the team, former World Cup player. Andre Lima, last year's leading goal scorer in the inaugural campaign, opted out of the restart as he stays in his home of Orlando. And of course, Chris Tierpak, another very productive player, often off the bench, including against Tulsa, I believe, his second half hat trick last year.
Yeah, Sonny Guadarrama has been hurt a lot and just returned to training this week on the roster for this match tonight. So yeah, some key pieces have been missing.
But newcomers like Jome, as well as Billy Forbes, have picked up a lot of that slack on both ends. Here's McFarland, who got tangled up. And we are going to have our first substitution of the night. Omar Sis will come off for the Bold, it appears, for Sonny Guadarrama. Another look here, though.
Ooh, ow, yeah.
As Dario Suarez was matched up with McFarland, and it's a teammate of his who got the worst of it. This is our first look at Sonny Guadarrama since the restart against Oklahoma City back on July 17th. Sonny produced a goal immediately after the hydration break in that first half to tie it 1-1. Oklahoma City would, though, pull away in the second half 3-1.
Yeah, it was a great goal from Sonny Guadarrama, actually, ironically, set up by Omar Sis. So the man he replaced was the man who set him up in that goal back in July against Oklahoma City. But I like the substitution. I like the move for Guadarrama. Definitely very hungry. And to get some fresh blood there in midfield, see if he can get something going.
Forbes and Guadarrama, both former San Antonio men, reunited this year in Austin. Of course, Guadarrama from the Austin area. Part of that third of the roster that Marcelo Serrano would like to keep local.
Believe you me, there's not a lot of North American soccer teams that have 1/3 of their roster from the local area.
A pipe dream for many. And even Serrano would like to improve upon it.
Good timing.
The ball stays in play. Martinez will run without the ball to give support right up the middle of the pitch. But that's Fabian Garcia, who was under the radar last year in an all-star back line for the Bold. Garcia has certainly had some brilliant play this season. It was even his header on a set piece that Lewis had to intervene on in those first half highlights. And he's had some brilliant tackles this year as well.
Yeah, Garcia and Taylor, they've really become a very strong center back pairing, and that's helped a lot.
Joan with eyes in the back of his head over to Forbes, who has it plucked away. Nice job grabbing it back there by Marlon. The ball here for FC Tulsa. They still have all 5 subs remaining. The Bold will have 2 windows for up to 4 subs. Still to work with. Tomasi able to find some breathing room. Forbes can't get it to settle, but does find Baez. Baez eyes on frame instead, looking to share. Sean Lewis wondering where that next shot will come from the Bold.
Yeah, the Bold really applying the pressure here. Just that finishing product that is in the final third not there, but they're pressing forward.
Johnny on the spot there is Dioff. This ball deflected wide, corner kick for Austin.
Yeah, so you're seeing corner kicks, you're seeing free kicks. They're looking to play wide, get the ball into the area. It's just not quite happened yet for the Bold, but they're getting close.
Dioff, the 20-year-old rookie, originally from Senegal, more recently from Montverde Academy in Florida. Same school that's produced several NBA lottery picks. Baez. Joe on the back post. This is still playable and concerning. That frame is open if Dioff could have gotten behind that ball. And this is Austin still to work with. And they will gladly start quickly. Dario Suarez with yet another goal in this hot run, stretching back to last month, his 5th on the season. Came in the 30th minute tonight. Right now, your difference. Austin, just like they did up at Tulsa, have been playing from behind. Ball lobbed in, and Lewis will never have to intervene. Simply a goal kick coming up.
So a bit of a breather there for FC Tulsa. This has been some good steady pressure here from the Bold, but again, the final third, just it's not happening for them. The FC Tulsa doing what they need to do by protecting Lewis and just clearing when they need to clear.
Well, if you're on the road, can't watch the match, turn on Sirius XM-FC, North America's only 24/7 source of soccer radio, featuring Ray Hudson, Tony Miola, and Rodney Marsh. Fans of the USL can now listen to the best matches of the week, along with action from MLS, the Premier League, and UEFA Champions League. Sirius XM-FC, that's channel 157 on your Sirius XM radio and Sirius XM app. Marcelo Serrano didn't have to rely on radio. He was able to watch on the ESPN app when his team went to Oklahoma City without him.
The magisterial Ray Hudson,
yeah,
on Sirius XM. How happy is Ray Hudson that Lionel Messi's staying at Barcelona one more year? What do you think? Happy, very happy.
You know, I was just enjoying the rumor mill so much. I was sad when it came to a conclusion. Oh, the speculation of what teams would give up for him. What would Marcelo Serrano have given up for him? Certainly the announcers. Again, concern once again. Nice job this year. Obviously, Michael Encian had some new ingredients to work with and a pretty productive recipe to show for it.
Yeah, I'm pleased for Encian. It was a really tough season last year for Tulsa, a long winless streak, and but they've managed to turn things around this season. He's a good coach. He's brought in some very good players, and it's gelled. It's really come together this year for Tulsa.
And you saw Marlon, for the most part, just taking offense to the fingers to the face.
Yeah, it's been a tough night for Marlon. He's not maybe seeing the ball as much as he would like. It's been physical. He's been on the turf a couple times. But the work rate never stops with him. Both sides of the field, both going forward and tracking back in defense.
Marlon's going to have to wait to rejoin his teammates on the pitch until he's given the green light. Now he's welcomed back on, so Tulsa back to full strength. Garcia. And they're going to say actually that ball had already been blown out into touch for Austin, a little bit farther up. Garcia not backing down, gets it right back. Okugo through some traffic. McFarland keeps it on the blades of the grass. Billy Forbes, and how about a little help from a friend? Oh, Lewis getting support off that back line.
The great ball across, and I thought Forbes was going to finish that, but Lewis is, I mean, just a brick wall tonight, not letting anything by. What a performance.
A little friendly deflection. Sending the ball over to Lewis.
Nice from DaCosta there.
And that will draw the whistle as a nice little give and go was forming with Rodrigo DaCosta tripped up. Again, last year, Rodrigo 4 times was Team of the Week in the USL Championship. But let's take a look at Sean Lewis. Most recent, his efforts, Forbes with a great stroke. And, you know, I thought that one had taken a deflection, not the case. Lewis all on his own.
And Forbes hit that pretty cleanly. It wasn't like it was scuffed or anything. Just
I thought Bourgeois had gotten in on it. Did not appear to be the case.
Left footer from Forbes. Maybe, you know, his weight was a little off balance, but still, Lewis was there.
Well, Tulsa does have other goalkeepers on the roster, but it's been Lewis who's played every minute this year.
Yep.
Same can be said for Diego Restrepo, the man in the light blue across the way. Austin Bergstrom Airport may call upon Sean Lewis to help land some planes a little bit later on tonight. Just up the road. And Marcelo Serrano will go back to the bench now for the second time. Dioff will come off. Beto Avila, the 19-year-old from right here in Austin, will come on. That's another single substitution. So that means the Bold have one more window left to make up to 3 more changes. FC Tulsa, 1-goal lead. Still have all the subs to work with. Beto Avila in his second year now with the Bold.
I think Austin, the Bold probably have to be feeling some frustration. They've had the chances. Forbes, you know, he's the guy, he's never going to give up. He's going to keep trying until, you know, the 90th, 95th, 98th minute, whatever it takes. But the chances they've created and they've just not been able to convert, they're going to get frustrated, and that's going to allow some chances for FC Tulsa as, again, as space is left in the back by the Bold. FC Tulsa is going to get some cracks at a second.
Foul called on Austin, keeps it here with the visiting Sun.
See the man on the ball right there, Moloto, just the South African. I love the way he passes the ball. Such good touch in the midweek against RGV. Just had a nice back heel that took out 3 defenders for a chance for Suarez. It didn't end up in a goal, but just a very smooth passer of the ball. Really fun to watch.
Comes over from Nashville SC. Spills loose from Restrepo.
And that's the second time Diego hasn't been able to hold on to a ball like that, a set piece played into the area. That also happened in the first half where he ended up dropping the ball. I think he was interfered with on that one in the first half, but that one, ball just came out of his hands.
Again, with the exception of the season opener here against New Mexico, 1-0 the final. Bold have not produced a clean sheet this season. Billy Forbes trying to get the step advantage, but Tulsa able to work it back.
And that's where you can hit Tulsa on those long balls. That's how RGV scored in the midweek, with a long ball just over the top, and they ended up getting a goal out of it. So Austin has that. There's an opening there. That's where you can break through if you can beat Lewis.
It was Bourgeois who intervened a moment ago. There's Beto Avila. Reminder of the great talent of homegrown soccer players here in Austin. Guadarrama handles the corner. Baez will settle back post and headed wide from Garcia. And the flag was up. It would have been a moot point even if he had found the angle.
Yeah, I think I would have liked to have seen Baez actually gone for goal there, taking a shot rather than play back in. I understand the premise of curling a ball back in, and you saw Garcia was open, he was offside. But I think Baez needs to be a little bit more selfish there and go for goal.
Talk about the youngster Beto Avila and the future of the game. USL's elite pre-professional platform, the USL Academy, allows clubs across the USL to build a pathway. As Tulsa will slow down this attack for a moment. And USL's really prioritized bringing together top local youth talent. Following that success of the first Academy Cup events, the clubs now can apply to participate in the USL Academy League, kicking off spring 2021. For more information, visit usl-academy.com, or you can search the hashtag USL Academy on social media. The USL and its pyramid of its own appear to be doing all the right things to continue growing the game. And certainly its Premier League, its championship, last year expanding, including Austin Bold. Bold making the playoffs their first year. They'll have to edge out Tulsa by the end of this season to make it back to the postseason. 2 teams from each group this year, the unique format. It appears San Antonio's locked up that first spot, as Michael Encian will use his first substitution window, as Marlon will come off for Alta Mariano. So the 30-year-old from Honduras comes on, makes his 9th appearance, 7 of which off the bench in his second year for FC Tulsa.
Yeah, he's a good player. Comes in from Platense from the Honduran League. He's got some caps under his belt with the Honduran national team. So Alta Mariano is he's a good-looking player. So he can definitely add something for Tulsa here in these late stages.
We saw Christian come on the final 4 minutes in that save against RGV the other night. But Marlon is done for the evening. Some fresh legs in the midfield for Michael Encian. And the Bold will make their final changes. Jorge Troncoso in the back, as well as Josue Soto. It appears Troncoso will play in the midfield. He's a guy who can wear a variety of caps for you. So in all, Austin will use 4 of its 5 subs tonight. They've used all 3 substitution windows. Tulsa still with 2 windows remaining for up to 4 more subs. And that would be Soto coming on for Ish Jome along the near touchline, the defender for the rest of the evening.
I'm a little surprised to see Jome come off because he's such a dynamic player on that left wing. Maybe he had some moments there at the start of the second half, but as the half wore on, Tulsa was able to clamp down on him a little bit more. So see if Soto can be a little bit, give a little bit more, I guess, incisiveness to the Austin Bold attack here.
Soto last year, a knee injury would keep him out at the start of the season, would still manage close to 900 minutes before the playoff push was all said and done. Former standout for Cal Baptist. Comes over from Liga MX. Last year on loan, this year signed to a full contract with the Bold. Follow up, that ball sent screaming across the face of goal, but nobody there for the punctuation.
And see Troncoso, yeah, Troncoso playing definitely much more advanced, almost up there as in a forward role along there with Forbes. Saw a little bit of a limp there from McFarland after that last cross, but Troncoso now almost kind of taking up that left side of attack.
The Chilean Troncoso last year, after he had his season ended with an injury, wound up being Coach Troncoso the rest of the way. Okugo. Troncoso looking for the opportunity. Sends one over the head of Avila. And Beto is going to be given opportunities to play a part in this comeback.
And Troncoso typically more of a, he can play either side, right and left. I think we see him a little bit more on the right, but definitely can play on the left. Now you see him shifting more over to the right backside, so there you go.
If you're playing Fantasy USL Championship, he's a utility player. He's done everything but goal. McFarland looking for the equalizer, would love to have it to do again. Lewis was 7 yards off his line to at least affect the angle.
That was the chance right there, Lincoln. That was the equalizer. Giveaway deep in the Tulsa half. And McFarland, he had the time, he had the space, and just unable to get it on target. Sends it over the crossbar. Here's another look at it. And there he is. You see he's got all the room and sends it to turn 2.
Any other year, that would have been shot right into the supporters banging on their drums, perhaps doing a little samba. Well, Cinco Doce and Eberle's Army. Shout out to those tuned in. A little later than usual with the lightning delay. That pushed us back a half hour. It's not like Tulsa's going to miss their flight home. They're going to stick around, play again on Tuesday against Austin. Question is, did Tulsa pack another kit, or will their equipment manager be busy doing laundry back in the hotel room? Guadarrama looking for Avila, who's able to flick it ahead, but nobody there.
So I think the substitutes, they've brought a spark and an energy here to the Bold attack, and now it's what you have. You're looking at around 20 minutes or so, including stoppage time, to try to find that equalizing goal.
And we still have another hydration break here in the second half.
And while I think when you're playing at home, you always want to win, but in this case right now, the way the match stands and you're down 1-0, I think Marcelo Serrano and the Austin Bold, they'd sign for a draw, and then you can look to the game on Tuesday to then try to get a win and get 3 points up. But first things first, you got to find an equalizer here.
And remember, a draw tonight would maintain Austin above that playoff cutoff line at the expense of Tulsa. You would stay with that third tiebreaker. Your first tiebreaker is wins. They would still be level at 3. Goal differential would remain the same at +1. That's why Tulsa was perhaps hoping to get a little insurance against RGV the other night. They could have been ahead if they had improved their goal differential. Soto sends one into the masses. Avila, Beto. We are level in Austin.
Well, Lincoln, the substitutes, they come in and they make a difference. That's all you can ask for. Soto with the great cross in with that left boot. And there's the finish from Avila.
The product from the Bold Academy, previously Lone Star. The 19-year-old able to strike the goal off the bench tonight.
Here's the look. Soto again, great ball. And Avila, right man, at the right place at the right time, and beats Lewis, which is no small feat tonight. And there he is. You just have to anticipate those opportunities. You saw the deflection, a glancing header from the Tulsa defender, and it goes right to Avila. Great finish from Avila, too. Composed for a young player like that, that's a great goal.
Again, no substitutions remaining for Austin because they've used up all 3 windows, but one of those valuable subs used on Beto Avila. And it has already paid off, and for the 3rd time, Austin has erased a deficit against FC Tulsa in their 2 meetings.
So now, I mean, if you're the Austin Bolt, 15 minutes left, there's plenty of time to get a winner. You've got some confidence going now. A guy like Avila gets the goal, he's going to want more. Soto with a great ball, so here they come.
Guadarrama, another local, off the bench tonight. Sonny G will just try to chip one over the head of Lewis, but it goes off the mark.
That's a good look from Guadarrama, and he scored it last season in the U.S. Open Cup. He scored a goal in similar fashion with just a hooking right-footed curler. That time it went in the back of the net. This time it just misses, but the Austin Bolt definitely flying right now.
Well, each hydration break essentially comes after a goal is scored, and Marcelo Serrano, as if this match just started.
Yeah, you can see there's definitely the momentum is with the Austin Bolt. Lots of confidence, and he'll certainly be pleased for Beto Avila to be able to come in off the bench. And I mean, listen, that's when you're a coach, the substitutes that you bring in, that's what you want to see. And to have 2 guys come off the bench and contribute with goals that way is just fantastic.
Well, it's been an eventful evening. Austin has had their opportunities to find that equalizer, but Sean Lewis has often been able to intervene.
Yeah, here was one of, in the first half, you can see a little bit in the background, you can see the rain. That was when the rain was at its heaviest. It's lighter now in the second half, but one of the saves there. Here was another one, just going up and getting the ball. But here was the save of the match right there. That Forbes tries to redirect it in, and Lewis just makes the reaction save. Another really fine save off of Forbes in the second half.
But moments ago, Beto Avila able to put one past Lewis, so he will not be recording his 3rd clean sheet of the season here tonight.
But it could have easily been, 3 or 4 had Lewis not brought his A game tonight. He's been absolutely fantastic. And now it's imperative on FC Tulsa to try to shake off this surge here from the Bold, and they've got the players to do it. Obviously, we saw the strike from Suarez earlier. The pace, Martinez, Maloto, these are good creative players. They now have to use that to their advantage and try to get back, because in the second half it's been lacking. They haven't had that same type of a dynamic play that you usually see from the Tulsa attack.
The youngster has his first goal with the Bold this year.
And I think it's going to be important to try to bring in to get a guy like DaCosta, get the ball at his feet.
Will these 2 settle for another draw? Still a lot of time. Forbes. 3 Tulsa defenders, a bit too much for Billy. And Guadarrama will be calling for the foul.
But you see it right there, Lincoln, when the Bolt lose the ball, they're swarming Tulsa to try to win it back using 2 or 3 players.
Offside flag was up as the quick restart works against Tulsa.
So the Bolt, they're very much one of these teams where you try to, you press to possess. So the pressing to try to win back the ball and then possess to then create a chance.
FC Tulsa grabbed that lead in the 30th minute and held on to it up until a few moments ago. Bold with the pitch tilted their way.
Really impressed with Soto since he's come on as well. Not just the cross, but just his work with the ball, beating defenders. It's been very good.
Last year, you could focus primarily on Andre Lima, the big target for the Bold, hard to miss, but defenses have had their hands full against Austin this year, never knowing where that next shot is going to come from. And we've seen that again tonight as Beto Avila opens his account. There's a youngster who had only played 3 matches, 25 minutes before this evening.
I mean, it just does a world of confidence for a young player like Avila to get a goal like that. And you could see all of his teammates, all those veteran players, all just so happy for him.
Okugo on the ball, had himself a brace last year against New Mexico, playing off the back line. Back to Amobi, former UCLA standout. And back over to Austin. Guadarrama has Forbes. Billy, oh, and it takes a left turn wide of the pipe.
Well, it's a great pass from Sonny Guadarrama. Great touch, perfectly weighted. Forbes goes with the near post effort off his left foot. Not bad at all to try to beat Lewis there. Here it is. Just a nice touch there from Guadarrama. Forbes, yeah, and it just kind of slices wide left. You've seen that on the golf course all the time, Lincoln.
Usually hop back in the golf cart and hit the gas pedal after I hear the broken window. Austin found the equalizer here in the second half, now looking for their first lead against Tulsa this year.
You see how good the Austin Bold can be when Sonny Guadarrama is there in midfield pulling the strings, and that's what he's doing right now.
Tulsa snapped a 2-game losing skid, their only 2 losses of the year, with the victory against RGV the other night to level things with Austin in the standings. Meanwhile, the Bold 6 straight unbeaten. And it's been enough points, despite primarily being draws, to push them into second place in Group D. A draw tonight would keep them there. In theory, under 10 minutes to go. We know that won't be true, though, with stoppage time. And here comes a triumvirate of men in white in a moment. We'll see Iagua come on, the Nigerian there on the left. He'll be joined by Bastidas, who was signed back in July. Product from Brooklyn. DaCosta comes out as we see Chapman Page replace him on the back line. The Brit.
Just look at Iagua.
This is the second substitution window, so 4 subs used. Michael Encian can do it one more time. Austin does not have any more opportunities for a sub.
Iagua's an interesting player. He's not a player, he's not afraid to shoot from outside the area. Good worker there in the defensive midfield, kind of sitting midfielder, so he's a good player.
Mufon Udo will come on now for Maloto. And there is the 5th and final sub for FC Tulsa and Michael Encian. Those subs come on in a level match after Dario Suarez gave them a lead in first half. Beto Avila found the equalizer here in this chapter.
Mentioning Fabian Bastidas on for FC Tulsa. Interesting player, a Uruguayan American who played in the first division in Uruguay. You don't see too many Americans playing in the top level of football in Uruguay. He played for River Plate there in Uruguay, not to be confused with River Plate Argentina. But an interesting player and just a new arrival to Tulsa.
How many erroneous Twitter updates are you getting from the Uruguayan side when you thought it was the Argentines?
Still first division, though.
Ball stripped away. Baez going to be an Iron Man once again. Okugo. As McFarland and Avila ahead, instead it's out wide to Soto. Certainly a capable starter for, or pardon me, Troncoso out there, capable in his own right, the Chilean. From the wing, sends one in, but able to intervene. As you had McFarland and Guadarrama in the area. This will stay with the visitors. You imagine Oklahoma City is the only team with any kind of rooting interest in this match right now in Group D. They're just hoping for a draw.
Yep.
Really the only team with a hope of catching up to these two. Flag stays down, and now it's lifted. Restrepo would have been there first. I'm being told we are not simply going to re-air the broadcast of this match on Tuesday, but we will, in fact, cover the rematch, as it will have just as much in terms of implications as we have seen tonight. Just consider this the second quarter. With quarters 3 and 4 up next, FC Tulsa, Restrepo's off his line, but able to put a body in front of the shot is Garcia, and that may have saved the Bold.
Boy, that was huge right there, because Tulsa, they haven't had very many looks in this second half, but it was right there to do it.
Tulsa fended off several attacks from Austin. Is now the time. A lot of backpedaling this half for the visitors.
If I'm not mistaken, that was Udo with the look there at goal, but good last-ditch defending there from the Bold.
Altamirano will send it through the back. Callum Chapman-Page, his 5th appearance this year. Another part of that Miami FC connection. And of course, their new head coach, Paul Dalglish, taking over mid-season, former head coach of the Aztecs here in Austin.
Good
Back
ball.
post, nobody there to clean things up. Restrepo never has to intervene. He'll simply be able to address this ball under his own terms on the goal kick.
Yeah, that was a good pass there. That's the right idea from Altamirano, and just unable. There's nobody's making that run there at the far post, but that's the kind of ball that you want played in.
Which of these two teams is going to be happier with the amount of stoppage time we're going to see in a moment, do you think?
I think the Bold, because I think they feel like I think both teams feel like there's a winner, but usually when you're on the road, a draw something is more of a result that you can live with rather than at home.
What a difference that would make. Of course, Tulsa doesn't get Austin again at home. They stay right here on the road. 3 matchups this year in the regular season, 2 of them being here in Austin. Nice quick turn from Sonny. And Billy taking off the ball.
He wanted the foul right there, and it didn't come. He tried to make the turn, and it was a little bit of a grab. He wanted the foul, but no whistle forthcoming. It's been this referee has allowed play to continue. We've seen some times where we thought maybe there might have been a foul, but plays continued, and maybe we've seen 1 yellow card tonight. I'm not quite sure just off the top of my head.
See if FC Tulsa can capitalize. Garcia again lands on this one. Back to Restrepo. Restrepo was unable to lift that ball up with his hands after it was sent back to him from Garcia.
And Lincoln, it's going to be so interesting to see what changes the coaches make prior to Tuesday night, how much rotation there's going to be in the starting 11s and things like that. So this has been an interesting round 1 between these two.
Can Austin force Sean Lewis to make another highlight stop? At the moment, these two teams are set to split the point. Or pardon me, the points 1 apiece. It's been a busy man back there. He started this year in that match at Sacramento with 7 saves just to salvage a 1-1 draw. And he's been their starting keeper ever since. Right now, the pressure on the other keeper. Tulsa looking to claim another lead. Billy, eyes in the back of his head to Soto. Josue will send one screaming. It'll spill loose from Lewis, who does just enough.
Well, that was such a tricky kind of swerving shot there from Soto, and initially I was just kind of wondering what he was doing, but boy, that really forced Lewis into a stretch save.
Nobody there, though, to make Lewis pay.
And Soto with only 3 appearances under his belt this season, but you would never know. He's really come in and made a nice difference for this team tonight.
A foul on the Bold. Beto Avila, first goal this year, levels this match 1 apiece here in the second half. About to say farewell to the 90th minute. Plenty of stoppage time, though, coming your way with all the substitutions and the hydration break. Billy winds up on another miscue, this time with Okugo. A little too casual looking for McFarland. An offside flag is up.
Yeah, that was a miscue there from FC Tulsa, basically giving the ball away to Forbes, but when he looked up, there were about 4 white shirts in front of him and just didn't have the numbers where they felt like they could make an effective offensive transition.
Just so you get your money's worth on ESPN Plus, 5 minutes of stoppage time. Obviously more stoppage time per match than any other year, I would venture to guess, in part because of the hydration breaks, the built-in minute, plus the additional substitutions. Even if technically there's still just 3 windows.
Yep. When you consider the MLS games that also have VAR, and then you have some games this year that have gotten 8, 9, 10 minutes worth of stoppage time, it almost seems a little bit too much.
You and I need to find more things to argue about. Big opportunity here for FC Tulsa as Diego Restrepo keeps his men organized, he hopes, for the final 5 minutes. Tulsa looking to strike with a winner. This will stay in play. Taylor, your captain. Kleber not in the lineup tonight. You would presume he's back in the midfield on Tuesday for the rematch. Avila, who's half of Kleber's age almost, with the heroic goal to level the match here tonight.
Oh, good cover. That was a good ball right there.
As they're looking for Udo. Not in the clear just yet. Taylor will concede the corner kick to Tulsa.
Credit to Bourgeois. That was an excellent ball in from the right flank, and there were certainly numbers in there in the area for Tulsa to try to get on the end of it. Let's have another look. Yeah, Bourgeois just kind of sizes it up. And look at it. There you have it. There's just another clearance from Garcia, but still you had a couple of men there from Tulsa with a chance.
Corner delivery from Altamirano. Taylor got a piece of it, so did Soto. And Josue Soto's a bit hobbled. Again, no substitutions left for either side.
Yeah, no doubt. This is a nervy finish here for the Bold. Tulsa looking to try to sneak in a late winner here. And
Eric Bird was looking to mow over some blades of grass, trying to send that one through. Simply a toss for Tulsa now.
Tulsa also has to be aware, though, that any type of clearance, and Billy Forbes is going to be off to the races.
Guadarrama knows what he's working with. Billy will pester Lewis. He's 30 yards off his own line. But Tulsa now positioned well. This one from distance, Restrepo.
Good job from Restrepo. That was another pretty good ball there from Altamirano.
Less than 2 minutes, but from what we've seen, that's still time for either of these two teams to get off a game winner. As the pace will slow down for a moment here with Chapman Page back to Lewis. Tulsa wants that final quality look. Bourgeois sends one in.
Oh.
Garcia keeps it playable. Bourgeois sense of urgency, final minute you would presume. Bodied up by the AR. Just trying to create a little chaos. And flag up, back over to Austin. Less than a minute to go.
That just might be enough. But I'll tell you what, these last 5 to 7 minutes, Tulsa have played in just a number of really dangerous crosses, especially from this right wing. And they've had the numbers in the area, and just some good clearances from the Bold defense has prevented any type of late winner here for Tulsa. Still with one chance, it looks.
Perhaps one final opportunity. Bold eagerly awaiting that whistle, willing to settle for a point now. Sent in, back post, Restrepo with the stop. And the rebound goes wide. Diego Restrepo will salvage a late point for Austin. These two teams play to a 1-1 draw, and it means we go into Tuesday right where we started, with Austin and Tulsa tied for second place, battling for the final playoff spot in Group D. At the moment, the Bold still on the third tiebreaker advantage of goals scored, 20-12. Beto Avila, your hero in the second half for the home Sun.
Here's a look at that last ball. Altamirano, another good cross. There's the header. And Restrepo on the line makes the save. And the shot just wide, the follow-up. Oh my gosh, that was incredibly close.
We step aside. You look at the final moments there as this one goes final 1-1. We'll put a cap on things when you rejoin us in Austin, Texas.
No matter what pops up during your day, Ascension makes it easy to get the care you need. See a doctor at home 24/7 with Ascension Online Care. Visit ascension.org/online care. No matter what pops up during your day, Ascension makes it easy to get the care you need. Anytime, from anywhere, with Ascension Online Care. Visit ascension.org/online care.
Introducing Budweiser Nitro Gold, a first-of-its-kind lager infused with nitro for a taste as smooth as silk. Flip, pour hard, wait for it.
Well, a lot took place, but the standings are going to look very similar from the way they did before this match. Diego Restrepo, last-ditch effort, comes through with a great stop. Never has to come up with a second save there down the stretch as a shot goes wide before our officials whistle. It's a 1-1 final that has these two teams taking 1 point apiece. It means they remain tied essentially for second in the group with the, at the moment, tiebreaker going the way of Austin, but they'll have it to do all over again. Another 90 minutes on Tuesday. Lincoln Rose, Arch Bell with you. Arch, Austin added 10 more shots in that second half. Tulsa produced at least a few more, but the difference was that one shot that came from Beto Avila.
Yeah, Beto Avila getting that equalizer there in the second half, so to salvage the draw for the Bold, but it really, Lincoln, this sets up very nicely for Tuesday. This is a really open-ended, back and forth end-to-end match between these two teams in the 90 minutes. I'd say Tulsa stronger in the first half, Bold better in the second half. But Tulsa finishing really strong in the late going, so it'll be curious to see what kind of rotation is made, substitutions, changes from tonight's 11 to Tuesday's 11.
So San Antonio hangs on at Toyota Field to claim the 3 points at the expense of RGV. Now, RGV put up 2 goals against a team that had only allowed 5 going into tonight, but San Antonio is likely going to run away with that playoff spot as your #1 seed from Group D. But Austin and FC Tulsa were tied at 13, now tied at 14. That's another big match on Tuesday with still essentially a 6-pointer between these two sides. OKC settled for a draw tonight outside of Group D action. RGV again empty-handed, still looking for their first win on the year. They do have 3 draws for their 3 points.
Yeah, so much to play for, and then you have still several matches to go after this one. So taking a look at some of the highlights, you saw the goal there from Suarez. So nice little crack there. Restrepo would like that back, but a really thrilling match, and it sets up nicely for Tuesday.
So Austin still has never lost to Tulsa. Last year, 3 wins in 3 meetings for the Bold. This year, the 2 teams a little bit closer have played to a pair of draws. What will we see on Tuesday? These 2 teams suit up, do it again, 8 Central on Tuesday, back here in Austin on ESPN+.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.